Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Northern Nerdcast. I am Brad, and joining me, as always, is Adam, aka Svenny McGee. And my guests don't really need any introduction. They are some Canadian legends from a little TV show that you might know called Degrassi. Junior High, Kids of Degrassi, Degrassi High, Degrassi Next Generation. So please welcome Stacie Mistysyn and Pat Mastroianni. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Hey, you've been practicing those names. Good for you. Good
Yeah,
job.
I was telling Adam that I was so worried about butchering your last name, and he's like, go and listen to how it says. I'm like, but people say it so many different ways. So, but no, it's great. I really appreciate you guys coming on, and I see you're rocking the Retro Kid sweater there, and I got myself a mug. It's kind of blurry to see, but
Nice. Yeah, I think I'm this little corner of my office in the basement is just a little bit of my Degrassi wall of shame, I guess, so to speak. But yeah, no, Stacie, okay. You just got your own Degrassi Street sign this summer too, didn't you?
Yes, I did, but it's down in the office, and I'm totally hyping Retro Kid as well. I just literally got back home and didn't have time to put the shirt on because I don't actually wear it out in public when I don't want to get recognized. Otherwise I would.
But I mean you guys get recognized pretty often, even if you didn't have the shirts. But I mean, I guess it's a gift and a curse. Like, you don't really have that privacy. You could be out in a store and, oh, you played Joe, you played Caitlin, and I just want to do grocery shopping, leave me alone. But yeah, so Pat, I have to ask you first off, do you still have the Delorean, and does it make those noises when the doors open?
No, but I still have the flux capacitor.
Awesome.
The DeLorean had a little compartment behind the driver's seat, and I had that custom made, so when people would say, "Hey, where's your flux capacitor?" I could just push the passenger driver forward and go, "It's right there." So that's the only thing I have left of that DeLorean. But yeah, my story about that is basically I'm a huge Michael J. Fox fan and Back to the Future fan, and basically it was just the epitome of anything that, you know, everybody my age when in 1986 wanted a DeLorean. So I guess I was going through a midlife crisis at 35, and so I ended up buying one on eBay, and recently sold it to a gentleman in London, England. So yeah, I had my fun.
Much to Farm's relief, right?
Oh, my wife was just like, "Oh, thank God, get rid of that stupid thing." I think she was only in it twice. In the 7 years I owned it, she only drove with me twice. But yeah,
gas mileage.
But the gas mileage was horrible. The thing had no guts. It was just a giant brick on wheels. If anybody thinks that it actually performs like it does in the movie, no, they'll be very shocked if they got behind the wheel of it. It's just a giant brick.
That's amazing.
So run us through both of you. Like, how did the whole Degrassi come about? Like, I know, Stacie, you were part of Kids of Degrassi. I have a confession. I have never seen anything from that, and I have never seen Schools Out. I know the famous line, but that's pretty much my knowledge about it. But did you guys have acting chops before, or were you basically just like fresh doing the show? How did that all come together?
I was well known as an actor for Pookie the Rabbit, and I guess that was like grade 1. And that was about the most acting I had ever done. I knew that I was interested in acting and I wanted to audition when I saw the flyer, but before that, yeah, any experience I had was strictly from public school theater. So they auditioned people, and they didn't want anyone with experience, or definitely not with agents, because it was a non-union, very early guerrilla type show. Especially when I started with Kids of Degrassi Street, so I'm talking like really early days. For Pat, what was your situation? It was a bit different.
I picked up a flyer in high school that said actors wanted for new kids show for the CBC, and it felt like, oh, what the hell? I'll just audition for it and not thinking anything about it. And like Stacie, I submitted myself. I got a call to come in. I read with about, I guess in total, they had about 500 kids, local kids in Toronto that auditioned for the show. And from those 500, they picked about 30 to 40 kids to participate in workshops for 3 weeks after school. And then during those workshop sessions, they discovered who were more comfortable in front of the camera, who had a bit more energy, and maybe who fitted the characters that they had in mind at that time. And I know Joey Jeremiah was one of the characters that they had a structured character for. And I think Stacie, you were already a character and you were offered to keep that character from the kids out.
Yeah, it was a bit different for us that were coming from the kids of Degrassi Street. They asked us if we wanted to keep our characters from that show, which I was Lisa Kennard, or have new characters. And all of us except for one, John Iowanu, who played Pete, wanted a chance to play somebody new. I definitely wanted to play more of a rebel, someone who wasn't like the, just the goody kind of. I wanted to stretch a little bit. But the first character they gave me was almost exactly the same as Lisa, but she was an aspiring rebel. So I was like, okay. And they had me intentionally, they were putting me, my love interest was going to be Neil again, who was kind of my love interest in Kids of Degrassi Street. It was Griff, and then it was going to be Neil. But even that evolved over time. My character didn't really do anything in the first season at all. It was just kind of more peripheral until they kind of fleshed my character out a bit more. And so Amanda, it was originally Amanda, became Jaitlin, and they gave her a little bit more to do, which was nice.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this, and I'll just interject real quick, that when Nicole Stoffman, who played Stephanie Kay for the first season or two of Degrassi Junior High, when she left the series to do her own thing, it really left a huge hole in terms of, she was the star of the show, basically. And by her leaving, a lot of actors and a lot of characters were developed to kind of fill that giant void. And a lot of people got those opportunities that maybe wouldn't have necessarily had to develop a character if Nicole hadn't left the show. But just luck of the draw for many of us.
And I know you had mentioned, Pat, previous that Degrassi wasn't really popular when it had first come out. It was more in the reruns and syndication. And I myself, I never really watched it until I was in high school, and I was a classmate. Oh, you have to watch Degrassi, like it's a game changer. And yeah, okay, whatever. It's just going to be another one of those TV shows. And I mean, I was wrong. And a lot of the stuff that you see today, you don't necessarily think about it back in the day, where like with being gay or anything. Like now it's socially acceptable, whereas back in the 80s and 90s it was talked about and it was coming around. But like Degrassi really hit that like on the head with a lot of different subjects. And for myself, two of the episodes that always stood out was the AIDS episode where you were fighting with the bully in the bathroom. I can't remember his name, but
Wayne,
yeah. And then the suicide episode where the guy killed himself. Those two stand out to me more than any of the other episodes. And it was really powerful to see something, especially on Canadian television, where it's like not really subject that's appropriate at the time. And nowadays, like you watch CSI and stuff like this, and it happens all the time. So it was really a game changer, I think, for myself growing up. So it's and it's all delivered by how you guys acted out all the scenes. So you definitely deserve props for stuff like that.
We obviously have to give props to the writers and the producers as well. They did their homework and their due diligence. And I think people weren't expecting a kids show that would normally be shown in health class to tackle those type of topics. It would be, oh, I got pimples, or I got, this girl likes me, or I don't like them, or, she betrayed me, or he betrayed me, the lighter sort of topics that you might be expecting. But then you throw in something like AIDS or teen pregnancy, abortion. You know, people are like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that from a show called Degrassi Junior High. You know, and then obviously Degrassi High when the series evolved. Yeah, I mean, that was the show's mandate. I think Kids of, Stacie, and you can talk about that, but with Kids of, there was a limit to what they could talk about in terms of subject matter with that age group. But going to a junior high and then eventually a high setting, they could tackle those type of topics that maybe were either taboo or were talked about in the big city, but maybe not in some of those rural areas of Canada or North America, or even other parts of the world for that matter. People always say to us, and they did at Degrassi Palooza, the reunion event I held, they said that your show allowed us to talk about things that were sort of not spoken publicly, or, you know, if there was a topic or a subject that was happening on the show, you could talk about it because it was on the show, and use that as the example. So it allowed for dialogue and conversation, which is really what the show's mandate was about.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things Kevin Smith always said. I guess obviously he was a big fan of the show, so much so that he found himself onto the show. But that seemed to be his thing, was saying that, you know, I'm in the States and I'm catching this Canadian show, and they're just jumping all these hurdles and doing all this new stuff. And again, like even you said, you know, just abuse, family abuse, like all these types of things, divorce, you know. Definitely like really setting new boundaries and changing the way television was operating in Canada,
or at least the way we were telling stories, or, you know, television producers were getting more confident. Normally these type of topics would be on an adult show, right? Not an adult drama show, not a kids melodrama, soap opera, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
And the other thing was that you got to know the characters and go over many seasons with their storylines. It just didn't happen in one episode and then that character was forgotten. You know, Spike and her child was throughout the entire run of the series. So, and then utilizing that for the next generation.
Right.
Yeah, they really wanted to make sure that what set the show apart was that it was coming through the kids' voices. It wasn't told through the adults. In fact, there was hardly any real adults on the show aside from the teachers, and the parents, whenever they did appear, they were all peripheral. It was predominantly through the kids' eyes. So that was what made it, I think, more relatable. And it was really, I have to just say, it was really eye-opening for us, right, Pat, when we would do tours and talk to different schools. And of course, we were always kind of coached in what we could say and what we couldn't say, depending on where we went. Like in some places, we weren't, I distinctly remember talking about a show that, one of the episodes that was about sex, we weren't allowed to say sex. We weren't allowed to say condom. We had to say like the whole 9 yards. And it just blew my mind, because I'm like, how are we supposed to have a dialogue? We can't even say the stupid words.
Yeah.
Like it just literally blew my mind. I didn't understand that. So yeah, anyway. I
still call sex the whole 9 yards, you know, but I'm with my wife and we're getting romantic. It's like, hey babe, 9 yards.
I say that too, but then my wife just puts on the Bruce Willis movie with Matthew Perry, and then there you go, the whole 9 yards. But I mean, Degrassi has such a staying power, and I mean, obviously, when you guys came back for the next generation as adults, did you know when the show was first announced that you would be reprising your roles, or was that something that was kind of talked about afterwards, or did you have that Degrassi hangover where you were like, I'm over it kind of thing, like I don't want to do it anymore, like anything like that?
Wait, between Kids of Degrassi Street and Degrassi Junior High, or?
No, so from after Degrassi High to the next generation, like when you guys all came back as adults.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think there was definitely some trepidation, but at the same time, there was also some excitement. But I think, at least from speaking for myself, I knew that it would have to be done in such a way that I didn't want to just do it for the sake of doing it. Like it had to be something that was like, that felt right and that the fans wanted. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it was going to be a lame attempt at trying to revive a show. It would have seemed desperate. And that's what I definitely didn't want. So, you know, I think we had to, you know, look at the script and see how they were doing it. And I did like the way they were incorporating it. Like, you know, Emma was the child of Spike, who was now the same age as when we were in junior high. And so it was a nice premise. I like how they did that. But yeah, I mean, and there was also the trepidation of what's it going to be like to be in Caitlin's shoes again after such a long hiatus. And but the shoes still fit.
For me, I thought the title was stupid. The Next Generation. The first thing I said to the producer, this is not Star Trek. What the hell are you guys doing? I agree with Stacie that I love the fact that Emma was the centralized character, that she was old enough to be going to Degrassi. I love that Snake was coming back as a teacher, and eventually he would evolve into the principal of the show. They wanted me to come back as like a computer repair guy or something stupid. And I said, that's my greatest fear, and it unfortunately did come true, was that Yan Moore, our original head writer, wasn't writing our stories anymore. And it was a bunch of young writers that were up and coming. And although very good, they didn't really capture the Caitlin and Joey and the older character storylines as well as I thought they could have. It was a little bit disappointing for myself where the direction my character was going. And even the storyline between Caitlin and Joey, I definitely thought, you know, Kevin Smith's cameo on the show was a bit of a jump the shark moment, in my opinion, because it really didn't ring true to me. It felt like an alternate universe was going on in the series. And then to have Caitlin and Joey break up forever because of Kevin Smith, I know that's his claim to fame, but I just thought that was a bit weird. So, and at the end of the day, it was really about the new kids. It was about the younger kids portraying current topics that were happening for that generation. So we were just wallpaper in terms of our roles in the show. But it was lovely, obviously, to be able to play, you know, our characters again with Stacie and with Stefan and Amanda Steptoe. So it was fun for what it was.
I think that's the thing from Schools Out and watching how you guys, you know, had separated, but at least tried to have that closure at the wedding to apologize. And at least now we're going to start this new chapter of our lives. So when Next Generation comes and you guys get to come back now, you've had a family and, you know, Stacey's about to get married. And so you guys rekindle a friendship and get things going and watching that evolve. That's all, like you said, all the bittersweet. And then it does take kind of a weird jump at the end there, although maybe it rings back to how originally from the events of Schools Out, how Joey ends up cheating on Caitlin and kind of puts that twist on it again. But I mean, really, end of the day here, like Degrassi mimics so much of real life that these things happen. We watch people in and out in all of our daily lives and things, you know, all these different life events come up, but it is still TV. And sometimes we just want a happy ending, you know, and that, so like, that's true. Like you said, even if it was like, well, okay, we're both going to move to Calgary now, like we'll see you later and go from there, right? Somewhere out there in the multiverse of Degrassi, there you guys are.
Exactly. Somewhere they hooked up for sure.
That's right. What about a TV movie and just giving you guys that closure? Can we ask for that?
That's like the whole movie. So I think everybody has their own version of what really happened between Caitlin and Joey in their own mind.
There's got to be some fan fiction out there between Schools Out and then the Next Generation on, like you said, what happens. And I'd be down to watch a movie like that. Like it's Degrassi.
And unfortunately, the people that now own the show and own the rights and the trademark and all that good stuff, I mean, they're not really content creators. They're just more distributors and whatnot. So it would be hard to have somebody with that same passion that the original producers had for the series to launch something like that. Again, I heard something on the news about HBO Max trying to bring back this series, but I don't think that's actually happening anymore. So there's always good intentions, but you know, sometimes it gets convoluted in the whole world of film and television making. So I don't know what will happen. I
think the ultimate, like you're talking about the Marvel universe, and then there's like a CBC universe. So there's like the Degrassi, and then you've got, well, Kim's Convenience was no, that was CBC, but then
CBC.
Corner Gas, Schitt's Creek, like all you guys converge together for some epic event. That would be awesome too. Like
Massive
Dan
cross.
Levy write the script.
I'd even be into an animated series version of that. You know what I mean? Like I would do an animated Degrassi any day of the week. We could even, make it take place in the 80s, and that would be fun too, I think.
I was going to say, that sounds fantastic. Actually, just reprise the roles, do the voices of your characters. Everybody's back.
Yeah.
Get the hat back.
There you go. I need it now, the hat. Where is it?
So just keeping, like, you had touched a base on like convention appearances. What exactly, for those who aren't aware, what is Degrassi Palooza?
Oh, yeah, good question. It was a one-off event that I got in my head that I could actually pull off, where I united 25 cast and some essential crew, like the co-creator of the show, Kit Hood, and Yan Moore, our head writer. And we just wanted to get together one last time, kind of just celebrate the show. There were so many actors from the series that just moved on with their lives and didn't even look back at their time on Degrassi. And I just wanted to put a spotlight on them and give them a tribute to say thank you for all their contributions to the series and the legacy. And at the end of the day, that's what I accomplished, and was able to document that in a documentary called The Narbo's Guide to Being a Broomhead. So I've been showing that around of late. I literally just got back this morning at 3 a.m. after screening it for the first time in Saskatoon at the Roxy Theater. So I hope to get that movie out so many more people can enjoy it and watch it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so I told my convention co-hosts that for this podcast, for those that are tuning in, I was going to do a special announcement. Now, when we do the actual live video with you guys announcing what I'm about to say, there'll be obviously more hype behind it. But April next year, you two will be our headlining guests at NostalgiaCon. So it's going to be a 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, I don't know, fun time.
Nostalgic event.
And exactly, it's the NostalgiaCon. So I'm really looking forward to the both of you coming out, and
Absolutely.
we're just going to be throwing it back to the times of when we all grew up. Like I'm a late 80s, early 90s baby, so we've got somebody who's going to be hosting our own version of Video and Arcade Top 10. You guys will be doing a panel, and you'll be there signing autographs, and of course, none of this would be possible without Stacie responding to my initial email. So that's phenomenal that we've got this going, and we're really looking forward to having you guys out to NostalgiaCon. And I this will be the first year I think I'm going to cosplay. I'm going to go 90s dad, and I'm going to have the white collared shirt with the multicolored sweater over top. So I don't know if you ever saw the movie Camp Nowhere, but Christopher Lloyd, when they're duping the computer parents into thinking he's a legitimate, that's what I'm going to be. I'm going to be Mr. Wozniak. So it's going to be great.
For a second, I thought you were going to go as Mr. Radich when he DJs the school dance at Degrassi. Same look, basically.
Maybe Adam can be Mr. Radich. But looking forward to that show in April, and looking forward to you guys coming on to that. So the convention, I'm really happy to see that the conventions are back, and I would say more popular than they have been because of the past 2 years of having to cancel everything and postpone, and everybody just wants to get out and get back to some kind of normalcy. And I find that a lot of these conventions provide that safe space, if you will, where everyone can come and just have fun for a day, recapture your youth. We have a saying for our expo, Feel the Nostalgia, and just come on out, have fun. So, but yeah, April.
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
absolutely. You know, I'm going to jump in real quick here and just say that I've been to a few conventions in the last 6 months, and you're absolutely right. People are just hungry for interaction, to get out there. They've been stuck in their house for 2.5, 3 years, and having these shows back. And for those that have never been to a convention like this before, it really is just an escape for a few hours to just leave the outside world outside, and just kind of relive your nostalgic youth. You'll see vendors selling stuff that you haven't seen since you were like a teenager, and it's all about just having fun, and maybe introducing your kids to the world of pop culture and superheroes and whatnot. So it is a little bit of something for everybody, and that's really what you got to let people know about, is that it's not, you don't have to be just a Degrassi fan or whatever, or
Exactly.
it's every
No, and like you said too, it is definitely a safe space. It's what I love about, my mind was blown the first time I went to a convention, and that was probably just a few years ago. It was my first one ever because of Degrassi tour. And it's just really nice to see how there's no judgment. You can dress up, you can be whoever you want, and people are just having fun and living their best lives, and it's the best vibe. So yes, come on out, dress up if you want to, don't dress up if you don't want to, but there's a lot to do and see, and yeah, it's a really, really nice, safe, fun feeling.
Well, I know, Stacie, when like we had touched base off camera, but when you guys came for Graphicon, I think that was like their most popular year was, and Graphicon unfortunately is, as far as I know, it's not a thing anymore. They haven't really done anything for 2 years. So that's one of the reasons we kind of wanted to step in and bring a convention back. But you had mentioned that that you had gotten a tattoo when you were here in town, and actually the company that's sponsoring you guys, he is so excited to actually be able to meet you guys, and I told him, I'm like, clear your schedule, because if they're getting a tattoo, they're coming to see you. So no, but Martin's really looking forward to the show. He's been a supporter of ours since we did the first expo in 2015. And he's been a sponsor, and he messaged my one of my partners, and he said, hey, is the special guest sponsorship filled? And Mike said no, and he's like, okay, well, it's filled now. So we were like, whoa. So
Right on.
yeah, so Studio 613 presents Joey and Jaitlin.
awesome.
Nostalgia Con.
And this time we're bringing Pasqua in to get a tattoo. We were texting Pat while we were getting our tattoos, and he's like, I want to see needle to skin, because he didn't believe us that we were actually getting a tattoo. And we're like, here you go.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that they actually went through. It was Stacie and the young lady who played Tessa Campanelli. They both went up, up to Sudbury that weekend. I'm stuck in Toronto, and I'm listening to all this fun that they're having, going, oh man, I would have gotten a Wonder Woman tattoo on my wrist too if I was up there. So yeah, we'll have to do something fun while we're up there. Maybe a team Tessa across my shoulder.
Well, you have to stay with the modern times. You have to put the hashtag in front.
Right, hashtag.
I was totally gonna make a Team Jaitlin banner prior to this too.
Yes.
So for people who going back to conventions, for people who have never seen you guys at a convention, what can they expect from you? Like what do you guys do?
A little song, a little tap dancing, and a little shimmy. Go ahead, Stace.
Well, I was pretty much going to say that. It's like, Pat will do anything.
Straight through the convention naked if I have to.
Pat and I enjoy these things because it's our chance to really like connect with fans in person. After and after all these years, it's really moving to hear. Like some people have anecdotes they'd like to share with us. So more than anything, it's like a meet and greet. It's a chance for us to interact, and we don't shy away from doing that. We do love to interact with our fans. And we sign autographs, we take pictures, and like you said, there'll be a panel so people can ask all those pressing questions they've been wanting to ask us all these years. we are happy to answer.
But with any guest appearance, regardless if it's us at a convention or another celebrity or artist, I mean, it really is a really cool way to actually physically connect with that person that you either enjoyed growing up as a kid, or you just, you know, you respect their work or whatever. I had that same experience when I got to meet my childhood hero, Michael J. Fox, at Fan Expo about 4 or 5 years ago. I literally just went up to him and said, Mr. Fox, you know, you were my idol because I was a young actor growing up, and anytime I didn't know what I was doing on set, I would say to myself, what would Michael J. Fox do in this moment? And so he was sort of like the person that I looked up to as a kid. And to meet him and have him actually say to me, oh, I've heard of Degrassi, I know that show, legitimized my entire career, basically, just to hear those words come out of his mouth. So I get it. I understand why people want to connect with people that they appreciated or admired or just enjoyed watching, and to have that connection with them elevates them a bit. So because Michael just made me feel larger than life for a few moments, and that's what we're trying to do, is just make people feel really, really happy to walk away with that moment that they can enjoy, and hopefully have a souvenir, like an autograph or a photo op that they'll get to enjoy and look back on. I didn't get that photo op with Michael J. Fox, unfortunately, but I'll always have that memory, and that's really what we're trying to do, is give people cool memories.
Yeah,
You'll
sell the con.
You'll definitely have that moment at the tattoo parlor as well, because you missed out on that. You'll get your Wonder Woman tattoo.
I was gonna say, if we don't get a full song and dance, can we at least get a hat flip, Pat?
Yeah, we'll do something. I don't have. Oh, wait a minute. I'm like, I don't have a hat nearby. Of course, I have a hat nearby. I always have a hat nearby. I'll bring that.
And of course, they'll make you sing the Zit Remedy song.
Yes, I was just gonna say that. Like, I wonder how many requests are gonna come from that.
Every time, Stace. Every time.
I'm so tired of hearing it, but it's what the fans want.
Yeah, after 30 years, it gets a bit tiresome. But hey, you know what?
There's like one line. There's one bloody line to that song. Okay, anyway.
I do want to just say thank you on behalf of Stacie and myself for at least giving us this opportunity to come up to Sudbury and meet our fans. I really do hope that, you know, everybody steps up and comes to the event, because it is really just a celebration of pop culture, but it's also celebrating Canadian pop culture, which I think is important. We never give ourselves enough of a pat on the back, and that's why stuff like this is always important to do, and why Retro Kid is creating merchandise featuring Canadian iconic shows like Mr. Dress Up or Sesame Street, or, you know, Degrassi, or all those other brands that they make shirts and sweaters out of, because it's important to represent. And for Stacie and I, it is just a lovely throwback, you know, to the early days of our career. I mean, we've done a lot since then, but obviously this is what will be remembered for mostly, and the most impact that we've made in people's lives.
I'm gonna definitely try and get my hands on a couple of those uh-oh shirts. We actually had, I don't know if you ever watched the show back in the day, but we had Scott Yaffe come out in 2018, and he doesn't perform as Wink Yahoo anymore, but he gave his blessing, and we did our own version of uh-oh. We called it oh no, and so he kind of rigged the system so that almost every single thing on the dial was a punishment. It was a lot of fun. But I talking about Retro Kid, I definitely want to get some of those, and they're launching a polka dot door line very shortly, and I mean, the theme song pops into my head every time I see it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting some merchandise there. So
absolutely represent. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like you said, Pat, the Canadian, you know, all the Canadian programs, things like that, sometimes they don't get the most attention. And so seeing what Retro Kid was doing, very cool. And again, even those things, Today's Special, like a lot of those ones that we grew up on, it's unique to see. So seeing you two come out with the Degrassi swag, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, it's very exciting, and looking forward to picking some of that up for sure.
Yeah, us too. For us, it was a nice tribute to the show, and they did it right. I mean, they really have good quality stuff. I can't say enough about it. If people just go to their website, retrokid.ca, check it out, and pick up a little. It doesn't have to be Degrassi stuff. It could be anything. They got consumer distributing T-shirts. I used to go to that school.
Yeah.
That was song of its time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what it's really about, right? It is nostalgia, and that it's definitely fun to just, this is what was special to us. Like I had the polka dot door too, and
Yeah.
reading Rainbow, like those, they speak to us, right? And so what's great about these conventions is everybody just experiencing it together and just celebrating our past and our culture, and yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I want to see a line of Smoggies clothes, because I grew up watching Stop the Smoggies, and like I didn't realize until a couple of years ago that it was a Canadian program as well. So, but
Get the licensing rights while you can.
what's that? Sorry.
You should try and get the licensing rights while you can. Start making shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, my own version. That'll be fun.
So
Well,
your event is a 2-day event or a 1-day?
No,
event?
it's just a Sunday. We bounced some ideas back about something on Saturday. I'm not 100% sure. See, I don't even live in Sudbury anymore. I'm actually up in Kirkland Lake now. So a lot of our meetings that we do are over Zoom or Messenger. And like we've actually just started reaching out to all the vendors that have sent in the applications. So it's going to be a nice variety of everything. Like we're predominantly known for video games. Like we bring in video game vendors from all over Ontario, Quebec. But now because of the whole theme being nostalgia, we're looking for records, clothing, vinyl records. Comic books has been part of it as well, but just
also
looking to expand.
Keep the door open for artisans as well, people who are creatives and can come up with really unique items that you can't find anywhere else. I mean, that's a lot of the stuff that we see when we go to conventions are just really cool ideas that people have turned into their side hustle. And they bring all this stuff to the convention. You're like, oh, I've never seen something like that before. So definitely put it out there for interesting and unique artisans to come and appear as well. So.
We even have one guy who's been with us for years, but now he's actually going to be doing hot sauces. Like, so he makes his own hot sauce. So I think he was looking at doing like a nostalgic style bottle of his hot sauce. So
I like that.
I love hot sauce. He actually makes a really, really nice one. So it's definitely something to look out for.
Cool.
Oh, I will. I like my hot sauce.
Adam, do you have anything else?
Actually, I just wanted to ask Stacie about your YouTube channel. I've been seeing on Instagram and everything with Stronger with Stacie. Is this something that obviously your fitness didn't just happen overnight, but with the channel and what you've been doing, is this something that you got into over the pandemic? Or
Yes, that's exactly right. So a friend of mine who is a producer convinced me to, didn't take much convincing, but she knew I was a coach. I had just been certified again here in Canada to start working as a fitness trainer. And then of course the pandemic hit, and we realized there was more of a need than ever to get people moving because everyone was feeling, trapped and anxious inside and not able to go out and do stuff. So the main goal was to find a way to get people to keep moving. So we started the YouTube channel, and I was putting out workout videos for free for anyone to access, but once a week. And then I got busier as a coach. And so I don't put out the workout videos so much anymore, but I do have occasionally, sometimes we have just mental health chats about different subjects.
Yep.
And they're out there as a free resource to get people started. And now, of course, you can get so many workouts online, basically anywhere. But what I offer now is customized coaching. So if you need something more custom tailored, because I have clients that have a variety of things. It could be PTSD, it could be fibromyalgia, anxiety, it could be specific injuries. And so I will custom tailor a workout based on what their goals are and what their specific challenges may be. So that's where that comes in. So that's on, all that info is on my website, staciemistysyn.com, and the YouTube channel is Stronger with Stacie. So
Oh,
thank
that's,
you for asking.
no, that's great. And I think, you know, now is the time where people are starting to really address, I mean, more beyond even what Degrassi was doing when getting into mental health, but even as Brad said, even just the things like discussing like homosexuality, etc., was acknowledging it at the time, but still maybe not as open place as things are today. So mental health very much in that limelight where things are moving forward and people are starting to address, you know, everybody's got something, right?
Oh, I was waiting for that.
But overall, yeah, no, it is. It's nice to see, and again, it's a positive thing. You know, I've seen even just from Instagram some of your videos, like doing like we're doing planking today, and like you said, there are other resources for that, but you're going through like different ways to do it and supplement it, and even reasons why, and you know, to build the core, because everything helps out, helps your heart, everything. So it's very awesome stuff.
Oh, thank you.
The other cool thing is that Stacie's reaching an audience that maybe under normal circumstances wouldn't even consider or look into this kind of subject. So by being a fan of Stacie's, and all of a sudden she's putting this stuff out there, she's like, oh, I might actually, you know, give this an extra 30 seconds and listen to what she's actually talking about, where normally some of these folks wouldn't do it. So I see posts on Stacie's media, social media all the time saying, thank you so much, Stacie, for kicking me in the butt, getting me started. Like, I wouldn't have done this without you. So because they feel like they know us already, they give us just a little bit more credit than just watching a video on YouTube or a stranger that they've never spoken to before. So it's nice that we have that a little bit of influence, and we're trying our best to do good with that.
Yeah, thanks, Pat. And also, of course, we represent basically our age group for the large part. And it's a challenging age because, especially for women, we're going through a lot of changes. And so I am actually a menopause fitness specialist now. So I've kind of gone off in that specialization. So I like to be interactive with my clients, and I like to be able to help people figure out what the hell is going on right now, because there's so many things, so many changes going on. So I like to help people navigate their way through it.
Oh, that's great. Like you said, just being a positive influence, using your influence to be positive. That's great. We appreciate it, both of you.
Thanks.
So where can people find information about you, about like touring Degrassi? Now's the time to plug yourself.
No, absolutely. That's why I created the Degrassi tour. I call it a fan site, but really it's a fan thank you site where we get to say thank you to the fans that have been so loyal and you know, have always been there for us for the past 3 decades. And they can find us on Instagram, Facebook. I have a website called degrassitour.ca, and we're always announcing our appearances. Like, we have an upcoming appearance next month, November 21st, 22nd in Winnipeg, for example. We're doing screenings of Schools Out and the Degrassi Palooza documentary there. So, you know, and they can find out more information through that. But Stacie and I are very active on social media. We're always posting little things about what we're doing. Stacie's always putting pictures of her rabbits online.
Pat's the one that got me into Instagram. Like, he's like, you have to get on Instagram, because that was when we started doing the Degrassi tour, because this is all, you know, Pat's brainchild. He's the one that's really good with all this stuff. I knew nothing about social media. So that was fun. My very first post. Oops, I didn't mean to post that.
What am I doing? But it's been because of social media that we've been able to reconnect with so many cast members, which is awesome. Like, I wouldn't have been able to meet up with folks that are living all over the world, different parts of the world. Like, for example, Alexa, who was played by an actress named Irene. She's in Greece, and we can connect with her now over Messenger, which is lovely. So many actors from the series, like I said, just moved on to normal, regular lives and careers. And now we just have a giant chat room where 25 of us just engage once in a while and talk to each other, which is lovely. So at the end of the day, Stacie and I really are spearheading the thank you tour. I guess we're the ones with the most free time, but although Stacie would say different.
Free time.
She's a very busy lady. But no, this has been a wonderful side hustle for us. We've actually really enjoyed the time we've been spending on visiting different cities across North America, and hope to continue for as long as possible.
for sure.
Excellent. Well, I really appreciate you guys taking the time on your busy schedules to chat with us. Maybe Stacie more than you, Pat, if you have
Absolutely.
that much time on your hands.
Tired.
Pat has his fur babies that, you know, he's always posting them. Naturally, you don't post them.
My fur babies, I haven't been posting them lately. They just lie around all day long.
You just need another tattoo.
I do. Yes. Soon.
But yeah, we will we'll see you guys definitely in April, and I'll reach back out when we do the live video. I'm thinking we're just trying to figure something out with Eventbrite on how to make the whole like package work. And then once we have that, I will get Martin from 613 Tattoo to do the video with me so that he can chat with you guys and say hello again and take it from there and take Sudbury by storm.
Absolutely. It's going to come by quick, man. 7 or 8 months from now, we'll be up there and it'll be a blast. And we just need to get the word out there and tell your friends, you know. Is there a website or anything or a Facebook page or anywhere where people can find out more information about the event?
Well, currently we have northerngameexpo.com, but that's going to be rebranded to our parent company, Northern Gaming Events. Because now we do 2 big events, one in the springtime and one in the fall. But we're on Facebook under Northern Gaming Events. We do have the NostalgiaCon group page, Northern Game Expo, and then on Instagram there's myself, Northern Nerdcast, and then there is the Northern Game Expo page, which is going to be rebranded to Northern Gaming Events as well. But we're pretty much everywhere. The only one that I use more than the actual thing is Twitter, but Twitter's its own ball of wax. So I use it for my own self, but not for the expo. It's just I find Instagram is probably the best platform for that now. So
well, we hope that anybody watching that might be interested if they want to follow us as well on our social media pages. We'll obviously be letting people know as we get information. We'll be letting everybody know about where they can get more information from. So yeah, follow us.
Well,
Absolutely.
Thanks so much again, and really looking forward to April and getting this together. It's gonna come fast.
Yes, it will. It will. Thank you so much. Nice meeting you finally.
Yeah, likewise.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys. And I want to hear how the Spartan race goes.
I will. Well, my buddy Clayton is on Instagram at _iron_hobo. Don't ask why he calls himself that, but he does a lot of art, but he does post a lot of stuff about what he's doing physical wise and exercise and yeah. So I'm actually surprised he hasn't posted anything yet, because the event, I believe, was yesterday.
Okay.
Hopefully
He's
he made
recovering.
it. Yeah.
That proverbial wall.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see
All
you
right.
soon.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Stacie. Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Guys, we'll see you.
That was awesome. That was a lot of fun.
Oh boy, that's mind blowing that just happened.
It's all about the nostalgia, man. It's
It really is. It really is.
you don't think growing up, it's and you know what, this is just like video games. Like, you don't ever think that your collection is going to be worth something when you're a kid. You don't ever think you're going to get to chat with people that you've either watched growing up playing in a video game series. And like, social media has its ups and downs, but I mean, I think we're rolling on a pretty sweet high right now, and it's really worked out where we've had the opportunity to do this. I mean, I know you have your main focus is your channel, which you can plug in shortly there, but this has just been a lot of fun. And like, I for a while I was debating on whether or not I was going to keep the channel going, just not because like subs is its own thing, and there is an algorithm and everything, but like, after a while it's just like you feel like you're getting stagnant and nothing's really happening, and you send out messages and you don't hear responses, but every once in a while you get that fish, if you will. And The last couple of interviews have been great. Like I had the opportunity that I never thought would happen, where I got to chat with Sean Kanan, and that was incredible. Like, I mean, it's Mike Barnes, and for those who knew him from Bold and the Beautiful and Young and the Restless, Deacon Sharp. So it's like again, who are we really? Like we're and Stacie had said, like it's a reverse on that end. Like, without the fans, they wouldn't have the opportunity to do what they do, and without them, we wouldn't be able to talk with these totally awesome tubular, I'm going to throw an 80s term there, people. So it's been a lot of fun, and it's been fun having you and Clayton, when he's available, coming on and doing this. So,
well, like you said, it's I mean, you know, we don't take any of this for granted. This is, you know, there's obviously, this is huge blessings when something like this happens. We can get special guests on, so it is fantastic. To Pat's story there, meeting Michael J. Fox, I remember going to a fan expo a couple of years ago, and I had actually purchased to take a photo op with Stan Lee and one with Adam West and Burt Ward, of course, Batman and Robin. But while I was there that first night, I saw Kevin Conroy, voice of Batman, Bruce Wayne, from all the animated series throughout, from Batman the Animated Series going through. And I remember like getting in line, and there was, because it was the Thursday night, there wasn't really anybody there. And I was able to just kind of coast through in about 10 minutes and get up there. And I remember getting closer and closer and just like, because it was kind of one of my first major times getting to meet a celebrity like that, and just like going through my head, and I got up there and just blubbered everything, like, you don't know what you mean to me, and you know, like the things I'm sure he's heard 100 million times, and yet just such a nice, gracious man. Just, that's great, thanks, you know, I'm glad it was a big part of your childhood, whatever. Photo op, signed a print for me and everything, like, you know what I mean. And like, it's so nice to see, like, to hear Pat's story with Michael J. Fox, and yet for Pat and Stacie to be able to even give that to us, and to come to the convention and be able to talk with the fans. I mean, 100%, like you said, it goes both ways in these situations, but it's so nice, you know, to see these people and to be able to speak with them, and, you know, for them just to be nice people. And like you said, like, just doing nice things. Pat setting up the tour and getting out there and reconnecting with fans. Stacie's doing like the fitness channel, things like that. Like, this genuinely just awesome stuff. So I mean, it's great. What a great opportunity we had today.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun. And originally we had talked about Saturday, but Pat was doing his thing in out of the province, and so it didn't work. And then I was like, oh well, Adam really wants to be part of this, but he's got a birthday party. And then Stacie said, well, I'm available at 6, and then done, let's do it. And you talk about how fast things go. I want to say that was almost 2 weeks ago that we had talked about the Sunday, and here we are, it's already Sunday. And time's gonna fly, and like, before you know it, the convention will be over. And it's like, that was so much fun. And I'm you always hear about people say that they have the convention hangover, and I have not myself experienced that yet. And I think it's because you see, like, people don't realize how much work goes into one show. I mean, Mike and Beth, I think they're doing 2 now as well. So they would know. But even one show, there is a lot of prep that goes into making sure everything runs as smoothly as possible. And no show is, I don't care what anybody says, no show is ever going to run 100% smooth. Of course. I'm happy with a 90%. There's always going to be hiccups. There's always going to be, well, did I, like we were talking about this before. Like we have applications this year, for the very fact that there's always that fear that we're missing somebody, or we've oversold, and then people show up looking for their table and we don't have any extra tables, but we have their money. So there's like, that's always been my fear, is either not having enough, or missing somebody or overselling. But yeah, like I just, again, another reason that not specifically the reason that I'm doing this, but getting these connections, even though it's small, is still nice. Like look at, like, I'm just saying, for example, like this wouldn't happen right away, who knows, but like say NostalgiaCon next year, reach out to Sean Kanan and say, hey, do you want to come out and promote your time as Mike Barnes? Like David Bates and Hitman, like, do you want to come up? Are you able to fly from Denmark, which would be expensive for us? But there's so many opportunities, and it's been really nice to be able to do this. And like even David Hayter, like Scott from Inside the Game still talks about how he enjoyed doing that snake off. So
yeah.
But yeah, no, it's been a fun ride so far. And circling back to Kevin Conroy, I did send out a feeler to see, but he doesn't really do these kind of appearances. I mean, on the off chance that I do get a response, maybe we have the voice of Batman. Like the voice, like, well, Adam West will always, to me, be Batman. Right. Like that's what I grew up with. Kevin Conroy will always be the voice of Batman. Mark Hamill will always be the voice of Joker. Sorry, yeah. I'm losing my voice. I'm all out of my Degrassi coffee. So, but there's all, it's just all these characters, all these actors will always be somebody to somebody. So,
right. No, it is. And you know, like I said, you know, very proud of you for getting these things going, getting the, like, everything you've done with the channel. Like you said, I know there's always ups and downs, and you know, but with my own YouTube journey, that's all I can say is just keep going, just keep pushing the thing. And you know, I always appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be on these appearances with you, and you know, I can always try and help you out as best I can.
That's much appreciated. And again, I'm not sure exactly what is lined up next, and that's not an NDA or anything. I honestly don't know. Yeah. So I've sent out messages. We'll see what happens. I would like, I posted my bucket list on Instagram on people I'd love to chat with, and listed off of a few people, and we'll see what happens with that. But I mean, I'm above 500 followers, but I mean, how many of those are bots? I don't really know now at this point, but. And then, yeah, some people put me over the 500 mark now. So there's, maybe it'll open up a little bit more. Like, I don't really know how these algorithms work. Obviously the more you have, the more you're seen. So, but anyways, I feel like I'm getting too sentimental. So where can people find you, Adam?
You can find me, Svenny McG, SVENNYMCG, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/SvennyMcG. And I do 2 videos a week, and I'm trying to cover everything and anything with video games. So if you're interested in that, and sometimes we do go nostalgia, we do get into action figures and things like my Batman Beyond there. But yeah, that's where I am.
You didn't see it, but I kind of did a Keanu Reeves where I was like, plug yourself. You can't even see it because my camera's too high, but like, but so we will wrap up there. Again, thanks for tuning in when you do tune in. Thanks again for Pat and Stacie coming to chat with us. We will be back with them, I want to say sometime mid-November, to do a live announcement. Again, if you are watching this, please don't post anything. This was just kind of a special for the people that are watching. We will be officially announcing their appearance on all of our social medias. But for now, I'm going to sign off. Adam, it was an absolute nostalgic trip. Thanks again for your... Wow, this is going to be edited out. Adam, it has been a nostalgic trip. Thank you so much for joining me on this Degrassi tour. Oh, see what I did there. And we will reconvene at another date and time.
You betcha. Thanks again for having me. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Take care all.